Hey everyone. So the other day, my brother and his wife were over at my house and I made them this pasta, which is my Gochujang mushroom pasta, and they loved it. They were practically licking their plates clean. So I thought I'd show you how I made it. It's super easy. You can find a link to the full recipe in the description below. But let's get started. So, as some of you know, I do these advice videos where I play the part of Komo to my nephew, and I dole out what kind of advice I would give to my nephew when he's 12, 13, 17, 18 years old, and asking me questions about love, about friendship, about jobs, about careers and dreams. But because of them, frequently I receive emails, DMs, messages, and comments basically asking me for advice on some really difficult life issues. This morning, I received an email from a woman who's been married for decades, has 2 children, and her husband is an alcoholic. And basically, he has been shaming her for being a stay-at-home mom and saying that she's lazy and she's the reason for his alcoholism. And she asked me whether or not she should agree to a divorce. Now, obviously, I am not a counselor, marital or otherwise, and when people ask me for these types of life-altering decision advice, I usually fall back on, well, I don't know enough about what's going on to give you advice that I think would be fair, reasonable, or ethical. But I do go back to my own personal experience because that's all I know, and that's really the only thing I can be an authority of. I knew it was time for me to leave my marriage when I could no longer hide from the fact that I was internalizing his toxicity and his lies. My ex-husband would constantly blame me for everything that was going wrong in our relationship. He was drinking, my fault. He lost his job, my fault. He couldn't find a new job, my fault. If he lost his temper with me, obviously my fault. And he was always telling me that I was crazy, that I was a bitch, that I was selfish, that I was immature. I mean, he had a list of names for me. And I started to believe him. And I was sitting in my colleague's office one day. She's, actually a very good friend on top of being a colleague and now a partner of mine. And I remember she was like, "Why do you keep staying? Why do you allow him to treat you like this?" And I looked at her and I said, "Well, Jill, it's because I'm selfish. I'm not a good wife. I'm not a good woman. And maybe if I could be a better person, maybe if I were a better wife, maybe if I were less selfish, he wouldn't treat me this way. And that's why I stay, because it's my fault." And Jill starts to cry and she says, "Joanne, you are one of the nicest, kindest persons I've ever known. And it is breaking my heart to see you believing that you're a bad person because of this man." And when I saw her crying and when she explained her heartbreak over me, a light bulb went off. And all of a sudden, I was experiencing heartbreak for myself. How had I come to that point where I believed that I was selfish, that I was a bad wife, that I was a bad woman, that I was mentally crazy? These were all the things that he kept saying to me. And I decided I'm not going to believe it anymore. And that's when I knew I had to leave. I had to choose me. Not all of us are lucky enough to have Jill in their lives. So I want to be Jill for all of you. Any of you who are stuck in a relationship where people are lying to you and telling you that it's your fault, that you're a bad person, that you're selfish, that you're lazy, that you're hateful, I'm here to tell you, you are precious. You are good. You are worthy. Loving yourself will be the hardest thing you ever do, but it is the most important thing you'll ever do. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this shorter video. If you did, make sure to hit that like button and Don't forget to subscribe so that you don't miss out on future Korean vegan videos. Have a lovely day.